Hello, YouTube and the tribes of the horror realm. Uh, Doing a DVD Blu Ray update. Um, I've been meaning to do this for a while. I kind of purchase in spurts, so I had a bunch of this stuff from earlier in the month, but I figured I never got around to doing these videos. So anyhow, figured I'd run through them as quick as possible. The first thing we got is, as you can see, the Billy puppet here. This is the trilogy Saw box set that came out a number of years ago for, I don't know, $30, something like that, 25 bucks. And it had 1, 2, and 3, I think it was. Cystic Saw trilogy. So obviously it's been several Saw movies later, and I figured I'd finally pick this thing up, add to the Saw collection. Saw 3 Director's Cut. Have an edition of this, but I don't actually have it this style with the clear slip cover, the O-ring that goes right over it, so pick that up cheap. Out of print, the Legend of Boggy Creek, which started a whole just proud tradition of bad Sasquatch films. And this one, it just seems more like found footage of the locals, because they are just out of their friggin' gourds. They're just, and people worry about me stereotyping. But this is one of those movies you almost laugh at rather than with. You know, when you're watching this thing, and not a lot happens. It's actually a really boring movie. You know, you're sitting there listening to the Ballad of Travis Crabtree. It's horrible. On a much better note, also out of print, picked up a copy of Race with the Devil. Peter Fonda, Warren Oates, Loretta Swift, and Lara Parker. Basic premise of the film is you got two couples that are going out on a skiing trip, and they've got their state-of-the-art camper with them, and at one point where they take a night out to just camp and relax, the two gentlemen happen upon a satanic ritual, and of course the women, doing what they do best, starts throwing on lights, yelling for them. Yay, come back, come back. Yeah, you can tell I'm married. Anyhow, they're the ones that cause all the issues, because now the Satanists know they're there, and the whole movie they are pretty much after them. It's a pretty cool atmosphere type film, because it really instills a bit of paranoia throughout it, because you just don't know who is who. Like, could one of these persons that they meet along the way be part of that cult? So, really underrated film. You don't hear a lot of people talk about Race with the Devil, but aside from the clothes and all, it would actually hold up well in a modern setting. One of my other little things I like to do is try to complete the... I mean, I didn't bother with the Masters of Horror set because I figured I would be able to get all of them that have all the special features and such. And I also wanted to try to pick them up with the original O-rings as well. Excuse me. So this is Valerie on the Stairs. Sadly, I haven't got around to watching some of these, so can't really commentate on those. Right to Die, I've seen this constantly in previews, so hoping to sit down and check this one out. It's from season 2. This is Pick Me Up, done by Larry Cohen. I enjoyed this one. It's a tale of two serial killers. There's Trucker, I believe they call him, and no, Wheeler, I think it is. That's it, Wheeler, and the other guy's name is Walker. And it's kind of a cat and mouse game between the two as they try to take apart a bus full of people that were stranded, and kind of got a nice ending. I think I would have liked to have done a little different ending myself, but whatever. The V Word, it wasn't bad. It was alright. Michael Ironside. Kind of like a vampire movie, as you can tell. I don't know what to really say about it. I mean, it was okay. You know, that's about it. After Dark Horror Fest, Mulberry Street. Really liked this film. Of course, this was the film from the same people that brought us Stakeland. Really enjoyed Mulberry Street. Don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it. Worth checking out, though. Exit Humanity, found this really cheap, so figured, what the hell. I believe this is probably not going to be the best one, because when they try to do period pieces on a low budget, it just never really works out well. In fact, I'm going to expect this one to be along the lines of The Quick and the Undead and Dead and Deader, I think it was called, the other one. Out of Print, In the Mouth of Madness. You read Sutter Kane. Anyhow, I hadn't had this one. I thought I did, but apparently I missed out on it, or the ex-wife got it. So anyhow, I was glad to pick this one up. Also added to the collection, the original, or one of the early versions of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde with Frederick March. Big Lots had one of those sales. I think you could buy 4 of their movies for like $10 or something like that. So I picked up the scintillating sequel to Bats, titled Bats: Human Harvest. Could it be better than Bats? Worse than Bats? Does anyone really care? Thirst. Of course, this is the guy that did Old Boy. So we got a J vampire flick, or Asian vampire flick, because obviously it's not Japanese. You open the box of donuts. The horrible. It's one of those movies where Hellraiser, it's like you see one of the sequels and you're like, ah, wow, that was really bad. And then another one comes out and you're like, wow, it can't be worse than the one I just watched. And then it is. Again, holding the proud tradition, Hellraiser Revelations, they couldn't even afford to bring Doug Bradley back. So they got a new chubby guy to play him. One of Teresa's hated films, Children of the Corn, and this happens to just be all the sequels, all squeezed on there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Usually I don't like compressed stuff, multi-disc things, because I hate trying to file them, but this is easy enough because it's just going to be under Children of the Corn. So I didn't really care. I don't have a lot of the sequels on individual discs, so this is a good filler for now. Last update, I had picked up the Zaitoichi, the Blind Swordsman Zaitoichi, the more modern version of it. This is a copy of the TV series. This is Volume 1 of Zaitoichi that had Shintaro Katsu. Adding to my Midnight Movie collection, I was able to find the standalone edition of Attack of the Puppet People. Found this little ditty here, horror theater anthology of Six Tales, all J-horror stuff. Sleepwalkers, Stephen King's story. It's got Brian Krause, who was on Charmed. What was it? Ferris Bueller's parents are in this one here. Spike and Mike's Cutting Edge Classics. If you guys have never seen Spike and Mike, these guys used to do these little festivals that actually you could submit amateur films to, and they're the ones that got Beavis and Butthead their start. Oh my gosh, South Park got their start through here. Wallace and Gromit came through this. There was a lot of, I think Ren and Stimpy came through this one as well. So anytime I find a Spike and Mike DVD, I always like grabbing them. Did a trade with Gary Culfy, and that's coming up. But in the meantime, he had run a little competition where we had to match up movies with that are most associated with a YouTuber. Gaz always has great ideas for contests. They tend to be really elaborate at times, and some people don't get what he's going at with them, but it's a little different than, hey, do a video about your favorite slasher film. So he came up with this one, and he had given out some DVDs based on how you'd finished, and he had allowed me to pick 2 off the list. And since I don't get a lot of the outer European region releases, I was happily able to pick up this copy of Fulci's Zombie. As well as, I know this is an old one, and probably a lot of the UK friends are going to be like, wow, you really wanted that old thing? Yes, I did. I'd never seen it, and it's a different cover than what we have there. It's pretty cool, director's cut, and I believe it's got a commentary from Savini on here. And what we traded, Bird with the Crystal Plumage on Blu Ray from Arrow. Gary knows I'm a big fan of these things, so he had managed to get a copy and wasn't as too interested in it, so I was happy to take it off his hands in a trade, and I'm sure he will be receiving the package that I sent him for it in the mail soon enough. Do appreciate it, Gaz. Thank you very much. You're always more than generous with us, and you've always been a good friend to me and Teresa, and we appreciate it. I'm sorry, Teresa and I. Segueing from that on to Blu-ray. I hate paying really high prices for things when they first come out, so I waited out Texas Chainsaw, and I think I bought this for maybe 15 bucks, if not 10 bucks, something like that. So, Blu-ray edition of that. Dark Knight Rises Blu-ray Steelbook was on clearance with Best Buy, so I think I picked this up for like 10 bucks. Also, while I was there, these were Echo Bridge, I think they had a display of these that were on sale for like $3.99 or something like that. So I grabbed a hold of the Prophecy ones. Again, Prophecy Uprising, Prophecy 3 The Ascent, and Prophecy Foreskin. Again, one of those titles that I really don't care to run out and try to get every single edition unless I can get them dirt cheap, so it's a good way of grabbing them all at one time. And this one, The Haunting at Winchester House. Teresa loves haunted house films, so she wanted to grab this one. And I know that The Asylum, this is, from what I heard, is horrible. But it also comes with a bonus movie, I Am Omega, and this one was actually supposed to be not bad. So, for $4, sure. One of my stores, they did a sale on these where they were doing buy one, get the second one at half off. So the average price of these special edition ones were about $17 a piece, $17.50 or something like that. So for a Scream Factory, definitely worth grabbing. And it's got the O-ring, of course, with the new artwork. Life Force, slice of 80s cheese, I would say, because lo-fi stuff. Nowadays it would all be CGI'd, but very clever film. Really enjoyed revisiting this one. Definitely worth picking up. One of my favorite werewolf movies, The Howling. Just love this movie and had to dip again to get the collector's edition here. And of course, in this case, I ended up flipping for the original cover on the inside. And ordered this one directly from the website. Crystal Lake Memories, the complete history of Friday the 13th. If you've never bought, this is a really well done one, kind of in the vein of obviously Never Sleep Again and More Brains. Over 8 hours of footage. However, there is, if you're a real avid fan and you've been getting like all the different releases with the featurettes and you picked up His Name Was Jason and all that, you're not going to get a lot of new information. You know, I've seen all the different featurettes, and you know, a lot of the people that are interviewed in here are been on the convention circuit, so we've gotten to, you know, meet them and talk with them and got stories out of them. So a lot of it's regurgitated. There's not a lot of new stuff in here, but very definitive. So if you just wanted to, you know, I just can't see anyone putting out another one here that's going to top it or give us additional insight. And this one I had ordered directly from the website itself. So they included a bonus disc of 4 hours of additional interviews. But that is something you're not going to get if you just go to the store and buy it off of the rack there. And finally, no doubt, Halloween 35th Anniversary Edition. Going to be watching the movie in commentary as soon as I'm done with this, and already checked out the picture on it. Beautiful picture, definitely beats the earlier Blu Ray edition as far as quality. Watched the featurette, The Night She Came Home. That was shot in November of 2012 in Indianapolis, Indiana, at Jamie Lee Curtis's first and only convention appearance. She was raising money for Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. And I'm sure you've heard already that there are several YouTubers that make cameo appearances in the documentary. Yours truly and Teresa, I think we ended up with like 5 different appearances, including one that looks like we're trying to sneak in with the VIPs, where unfortunately we were actually told to be in that line by someone and then get up there and someone tells you something entirely different. Wow, how could that happen at a Horror Hound show? Impossible. You know, I will say one thing, they're getting better. But yeah, pretty much no one knew ass from elbow what we were doing. And shortly actually thereafter, we did get into the room, which is why if you watch it, we were actually seated in there the whole time. Also making appearances, 410 Goodfella, 13 The Bear, Rhine 1988, as well as Horace Ball, where he and his entire family are seen in there. So definitely worth picking up, and I believe right now you can probably get it for just under $20. So that's about it. I don't think I picked anything else up. Oh, actually, you know what? I did. Oh, sorry about that. Here we go. This is a scene, of course, from the classic Dracula movie, from the very beginning, when the coach is on its way and the young lady is reading from the book there. That is the studio's niece, the head of the studio, Carl Laemmle, his niece, Carla, and she is known to make the first speaking role in a supernatural film. So, and Carla is now 104 years old. Yeah, she's 104, and she was a great signer through the mail. Her niece, they started up a web store for her to try to get her a star on Hollywood. So they're working on that, and so I decided I'm going to order one of these signed photos, which she so graciously did. And they sent along because she was also in Phantom of the Opera, she was one of the ballerinas, this little art card that Carla had signed as well. So definitely worth checking out. I believe it's lamley.us or something like that. That her niece wrote a little thank you note as well for supporting her aunt. So that's what else we got. So that's it. This ran on a really long time. I'm sorry, and if you actually decided to get to the end of this 23 minutes and not go watch Simon's Cat or vintage Ric Flair wrestling matches, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you later.